Hello, so good to be able to share with you again. And today I want us to talk about the story we will find in the Bible in Exodus 14. Most likely you have heard it before, but when we read it today, I want us to be able to find the similarities of what's going on here and probably what's going on in our lives. And let me give you some context. The people of Israel had just been freed from Egypt. They have just been freed from slavery. And as they started going out and walking towards the promised land, Pharaoh had a change of heart and he decided to actually go after them. And he took all his army to chase them. And let's see what happens in verse 10. And it says, as Pharaoh approached, the people of Israel looked up and panicked when they saw the Egyptians overtaking them. They cried out to the Lord and they said to Moses, "Why did you bring us out here to die in the wilderness? Weren't there enough graves for us in Egypt? What have you done to us? Why did you make us leave Egypt? Didn't we tell you this will happen while we were still in Egypt? We said, leave us alone. Let us be slaves to the Egyptians. It's better to be a slave in Egypt than a corpse in the wilderness." And let's just think about that situation for a second. They were there in front, they had a sea, and in the back they had all this army coming after them, and they just saw like for sure death in front of their eyes. But instead of remembering that they had seen God's powerful hand free them from Egypt, they have heard his promises. They had seen him already doing all the plagues so the Pharaoh will free them. But instead, they didn't think of all that. The only thing that their nature and their mind was taking them to was back to that slavery mentality, back to what was known to them. So we can see that the vision that they had here is so limited. It's so limited because they weren't just seeing, this is God. We have God in our side. We have seen him defend us and he will defend us again. But no, they quickly went to complaints, to doubt, to panic, to fear. Does the doubt sound a little familiar to you? It sounds so familiar to me. I have seen God's hand in my life. I've seen his miracles. I've seen him being faithful to his promises. I've seen his power. But many times when I face adversity, when I'm in between a sea and an army against me, then my nature wants to doubt. My nature wants to just start lacking faith, wants to complain. But then let's listen what Moses says, what he told the people. It says, "Don't be afraid. Just stand still and watch the Lord rescue you today. The Egyptians you see today will never be seen again. The Lord himself will fight for you. Just stay calm." And I love it. I love it because when I read this, I take it for my life, and I hope that you're taking it for your life too today. Because in the midst of all this craziness, when their nature and our nature wants to take us back to that mentality of slavery, wants to take us back to what we think it's comfortable or what we think it's safe, God's mercy and grace still shows up for our lives. And it says here, don't be afraid. Just stand still. And today, let's take that word for us. Let's not be afraid. Just stand still. Let's just stand firm and watch how God fights the battles for us. He is so good. And we know what happened later. He divides the water so the Israelites can walk through the middle of the sea on dry ground. He is still continues doing miracles. He is still being faithful to his promises. He continues defending us in every moment. So many times we might not have a plan. He won't take us in front of that sea. He won't put us in the middle of two deadly options if he didn't have a plan. He always have a plan. So even if you and I find ourselves right now in a situation where there is no plan, or God has a plan. He always has a perfect plan. And his plan, he always have deliverance for us. He always has freedom for us. Since the beginning of the time, he has been freeing. He has been bringing that freedom to people, to our lives. So today, let's walk in that freedom. Let's walk on those promises. Let's walk in trust. Trust in him, that he always fights our battles for us. So thank you so much. Hope you have been blessed and have a great day.